learners, welcome to Block 2. We have been discussing the tribal policies and legislations. Now this week in this session, we are going to discuss Unit 2, Constitutional Provisions and Acts for Tribals. Now let us look at the objectives of this unit. In this unit, we will discuss the provisions and legislations ensured in the Constitution of India for the scheduled tribes. After going through this unit, you should have a good knowledge of various constitutional provisions for the scheduled tribes of India to safeguard their interests and empower them for a life of equality, justice and dignity. Important acts which are promulgated for ensuring protection of tribals from atrocities, control over resources and their management, and local governance in scheduled areas and tribal areas. You will also understand the rationale behind positive discrimination and other legislations relevant to the scheduled tribes of India. We know the Constitution of India is the fundamental law of the country which came into effect on January 26, 1950. It enunciates the foundational principles of governance, establishes the basic structure of government, defines the powers, functions and interrelationship of various administrative organs, and regulates the relationship between citizens and the state. It is the conscience of the nation. The Indian Constitution is the country's cornerstone of the legal and judicial system. The Constitution has tried to spell out the hopes, dreams and aspirations of the people of India, which emerge very powerfully in its preamble as "We the people of India, taking a pledge to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation." Scheduled tribes is one of the categories for which the Indian Constitution has special safeguards and provisions. These are based on the principle of equity and justice within the framework of social, economic, political and historical processes, which have led the scheduled tribes alienated from their resources, exploited and discriminated against by the dominant groups, and excluded both from society and the benefits of development. If these constitutional provisions are implemented with commitment and political will, there can be three interrelated impacts. On the one hand, productivity, safety and security as well as economic well-being of the entire population would be ensured. It would also aid in reducing the ever-widening gap between the resourceful majority and resource-alienated and powerless minority population. Further, it would also result in the non-discrimination and deprivation of weaker sections. Now let us look at what are the constitutional provisions for scheduled tribes. Let us see the constitutional measures which have been taken for the tribal development. The Ministry of Welfare, now which is known as the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, it was entrusted with the task of economic welfare, social justice and empowerment of disadvantaged and marginalized sections of the society. In the year 1999, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs was constituted by bifurcating the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and this has led to the split of National Commission for SCs and STs in the year 2003 through the Constitution, that is the 89th Amendment Act. The National Commission for SCs and the National Commission for STs were created. The first National Commission for STs functioned from 2003 to 2007. The Constitution of India guarantees development of the scheduled tribes and the scheduled castes. The idea of ST-SC development in the Constitution may seem to be confined to economic domain. However, there are various provisions which are made for the deprived groups, particularly for STs and SCs, which also offer measures which are holistic in nature. So these can be categorized in terms of social, economic, political, gender, legal and human rights domains. Let us look at these domains in detail. Firstly, talking about the social domain, here there are some exceptions in the Constitution for scheduled tribes and scheduled castes. The Constitution of India emphasizes on the equality of every citizen. Article 14, for instance, it provides equality before the law. And according to this provision, the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. In Article 15(1), there is a prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, place or birth. However, there is an exception in Article 15(4), 16 and 16(4) for the empowerment of the scheduled tribes. Now let us discuss what are the safeguards for a dignified life for the scheduled tribes. The Indian Constitution has provisions which ensure a life of dignity for the scheduled tribes. Article 19 provides protection of certain rights regarding freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, to form associations, etc. Article 25 ensures freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion entry into temples of Hindu religious institutions of a public character. Article 35 provides to give effect to the provisions relating to fundamental rights. Article 38 makes provision for the state to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. Now let us see what are the educational and cultural safeguards for the SC/STs. Article 15(4) makes space for empowering the state to make any special provision for the advancement of a socially and educationally backward class of citizens for SCs and STs. It is due to this provision that the state is enabled to reserve seats for SCs and STs in educational institutions including technical, engineering and medical colleges and in scientific and specialized courses. Article 16(4), the term backward classes is used as a generic term and comprises various categories of backward classes such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, denotified communities and nomadic, semi-nomadic communities. Article 16 provides that there be equality of opportunity in matters of public employment, but there is a special provision for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Article 46 is a comprehensive provision comprising both the developmental and regulatory aspects. As per this article, it is the state's responsibility to promote with special care the educational and economic interests of the weaker sections of the people, particularly of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, and to protect them from social injustice and various forms of exploitation. Now let us see what are the articles related to prohibition of untouchability. Article 17 prohibits untouchability and its practice in any form. The enforcement of any disability arising out of untouchability is considered to be an offence punishable in accordance with law. In order to make Article 17 effective, Parliament enacted the Untouchability Act in the year 1955. To make the provisions of the Act more stringent, the Act was amended in the year 1976 and was renamed as the Protection of Civil Rights Act in the year 1955. The Government of India under this Act notified the rules, the PCR rules 1977 to carry out the provision of this Act. And moreover, since the cases of atrocities on SC/STs were not covered under provisions of PCR Act 1995, Parliament passed another Act in the year 1989 to prevent the atrocities. This Act, known as the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes, that is the Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989, which came into effect from 30th January 1990. In order to carry out the provisions of this Act, the Government of India notified the SCs and STs Prevention of Atrocities Rules 1995 on 31st March 1995. Now let us look at what are the articles related to prohibition of human trafficking and forced labor. Article 23 prohibits human trafficking, bonded labor and other similar forms of forced labor and provides that any contravention of this provision shall be an offence punishable in accordance with law. It does not specifically mention SCs and STs, But since the majority of bonded laborers, they belong to SC and ST categories, this article has a special significance for SCs and STs. And in pursuance of this article, Parliament enacted the Bonded Labour System Act 1976. For effective implementation of this act, the Ministry of Labour has been running a centrally sponsored scheme for identification, liberation and rehabilitation of bonded labourers. Now let us see what are the provisions for children in the various articles. Article 24 has provided for children. According to this article, no child below the age of 14 years should be employed to work in any factory or mine or be engaged in any other hazardous employment. In fact, there are central and state laws to prevent child labour. This article is significant from the point of view of the SCs and STs, as a sizable number of children who are engaged in hazardous employment, they belong to SC and ST groups. Now let us see what are the protection of minorities' interests. Article 29 provides any section of citizens residing in the territory of India or any part of thereof having a distinct language, script or culture of its own have the right to conserve the same. Article 29(2) says that no citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institution mentioned by the state or receiving aid out of state funds on grounds only of religion, race, caste, language or any of them. There is a constitutional mandate for promotion of educational and economic interests of SCs, STs and other weaker sections. Now moving on to the next domain, economic domain. Let us see what are the articles related to this. Article 275(1) speaks of granting aid from the Consolidated Fund of India each year for promoting the welfare of STs and administration of scheduled areas. Article 335 provides that the claims of the members of STs in the appointments to services and posts in connection with the affairs of the union or of a state to be taken into consideration consistent with the maintenance of efficiency of administration. Let us look at the administrative domain and the article related to this. Article 163 provides that there be a council of ministers with the chief minister at the head to aid and advise governor in the exercise of his function. Article 164 makes the provision in the states of Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Orissa a minister in charge of tribal welfare who may in addition be in charge of the welfare of the SCs and backward classes or any other work. Article 338 provides for the National Commission for SCs and STs. The Constitutions Act 2003. Following the Constitutions Act 2003, National Commission for SCs and STs was reconstituted into the National Commission for SCs and the National Commission for STs. Article 339 makes provision for appointment of a commission to report on the administration of the scheduled areas and the welfare of the STs in the states. Article 340 talks about the appointment of commission to investigate the conditions of socially and educationally backward classes and the difficulties under which they labor and to make recommendations to remove such difficulties and to improve their conditions. Article 342 has provision for the list of STs which Parliament may by law include in or exclude from the list of STs specified in the notification issued. Now let us look at the article related to administration of scheduled areas and tribal areas. Article 244(1) has the provisions of the 5th schedule applicable to the administration and control of the scheduled areas and STs in any states other than the states of Assam and Meghalaya. The provisions of the 6th schedule enshrined in the Article 244 to apply to the administration of the tribal areas in the states of Assam and Meghalaya and the Union Territory of Mizoram. Now let us see how the formation of an autonomous state comprising certain tribal areas in Assam and creation of local legislature or council of members or both. Let us see what are the articles related to this. Article 244(a)(1) provides that Parliament may by law form within the state of Assam an autonomous state comprising all or any of the tribal area specified in the 6th schedule and create therefore a body, whether elected or partly nominated and partly elected, to function as a legislature for the autonomous state, or a council of ministers, or both, with such constitution, powers and functions in each case as may be specified in the law. Now moving on to the special provision with respect to the state of Nagaland. Let us see what are the articles related to this. Article 371A1 provides that notwithstanding anything in this constitution, no act of parliament in respect of religious or social practices of the Nagas, Naga customary law and procedure, administration of civil and criminal justice involving decisions according to Naga customary law, ownership and transfer of land and its resources shall apply to state of Nagaland unless the Legislative Assembly of Nagaland by a resolution. The Act also provides that the Governor of Nagaland has special responsibility with respect to law and order in the state of Nagaland for so long as, in his opinion, internal disturbances occurring in the Naga Hills, Tunansang area immediately before the formation of that state continue therein, in any part thereof, and in the discharge of his functions in relation to, the Governor shall, after consulting the Council of Ministers, exercise his individual judgment as to the action to be taken. If any question arises whether any matter is or is not a matter in which the Governor is, under this subclause, required to act in the exercise of his individual judgment, the decision of the Governor in his discretion shall be final. The validity of anything done by the Governor shall not be called in question on the ground that he ought or ought not to have acted in the exercise of his individual judgment. Now let us look into the special provision with respect to the state of Assam. Article 371B, notwithstanding anything in the constitution, the President may, by order made with respect to the state of Assam, provide for the constitution and functions of a committee of the Legislative Assembly of the state, consisting of members of that assembly elected from the tribal areas specified in the order, and for the modifications to be made in the rules of procedure of that assembly for the constitution and proper functioning of such committees. Now let us see what are the special provision with respect to the state of Manipur. Article 371C, notwithstanding anything in the constitution, the President may, by order made with respect to the state of Manipur, provide for the constitution and functions of a committee to the Legislative Assembly of the state, consisting of members and that assembly elected from the hill areas of the state, for the modifications to be made in the rules of business of the government and the rules of procedure in the Legislative Assembly of the state, and for any special responsibility of the Governor in order to secure the proper functioning of such committee. Article 371C2, the Governor shall annually or whenever so required by the President makes a report to the President regarding the administration of the hill areas in the state of Manipur, and the executive power of the Union shall be extended to the giving of direction to the state as to the administration of the said area. Now moving on to the next domain, that is the political domain. Let us see what are the articles related to the political domain of the scheduled tribes. Article 244(1) provides that through the 5th schedule, the administration and control of scheduled areas and the scheduled tribes in any state other than the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, by ensuring submission of annual report by the governors to the President of India regarding the administration of the scheduled areas, and setting up of a tribal advisory council in order to advise on such matters pertaining to the welfare and advancement of STs. Article 244(21) has special provisions through the 6th schedule for the administration of tribal areas in the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram by designating certain tribal areas as autonomous districts and autonomous regions, and also by constituting district councils, autonomous councils and regional councils. The extension of the 73rd and 74th amendments of the Constitution to the scheduled areas through the Panchayats Act 1996, that is the PESA Act, to ensure effective participation of the tribals in the process of planning and decision making. Let us look at what are the positive discrimination against the scheduled tribes. Now let us see what are the positive discrimination measures. These are also known as the provisions of reservation, or seen as the main means of empowerment of weaker sections. There are three types of provisions under positive discrimination: reservation in the educational institutions, reservation of services and posts in the government, and reservation of seats in the legislatures. Historically, the so-called untouchables and tribals, they were denied access to education. So, the argument for reservation for the STs in educational institutions is made on the ground that due to isolation and deprivation, they were denied access to education for centuries. In line with Article 15(4) of the Constitution, which empowers the state to make special provisions for the educational development of STs, the Indian government currently allows the reservation of 7.5% of seats for STs in universities and colleges and in public sector jobs. But the reservation provided by the Constitution has not been filled even after 5 decades. So, significantly, when we compare the scheduled caste and the actual representation of scheduled tribes is even lower. For instance, in Gujarat, scheduled tribes constitute 14.2% of the population. Keeping this in view, they were also provided with 14% reservation, but even in B category, just over 4% of seats have been filled by them. Gujarat state is ranked third in the terms of economic development, but this economic development has left tribals untouched. Only in the reservation in seats in legislative bodies, there is some positive picture. Articles 330 and 332 speak about the reservation of seats for SCs and STs in the parliament and assemblies. Since the seats for parliament and assemblies are earmarked as reserved seats, no candidate from the non-tribals can contest there, and thus the tribals have 100% of the reserved seats. Now let us see the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 further provides reservation for weaker sections in the local governance units. Let us see the reservation of seats which are provided in the article. Article 330 provides reservation of seats for SCs, STs in the Lok Sabha. Article 332(1) provides the seats be reserved for the SCs and the STs except the scheduled tribes in the tribal areas of Assam, in Nagaland and Meghalaya in the legislative assembly of every state. Article 332(2) provides that seats be reserved also for the autonomous districts in the legislative assembly of the state of Assam. Article 332(3) has provision that number of seats be reserved for the SCs and the STs in the legislative assembly of any state under clause 1, the same population of the SCs. Article 332(4) provides that the number of seats reserved for an autonomous district in the legislative assembly of the state of Assam bear to the total number of seats in that assembly a proportion not less than the population of the district to the total population of the state. Article 332(5) provides that the constituencies of these seats reserved for any autonomous district of Assam do not comprise any area outside that district. Article 334 originally laid down that the provision relating to the reservation of seats for SCs and STs in the Lok Sabha and the state Vidhan Sabhas would cease to have effect on the expiration of a period of 10 years from the commencement of the Constitution. This article has since been amended 4 times, extending the said period by 10 years on each occasion. Article 243D provides reservation of seats for SCs and STs in every panchayat. Article 244 and 339 provides the administration of scheduled areas and tribal areas and control of the union over the administration of scheduled areas and the welfare of scheduled tribes. So learners, I hope you would have listened to the video carefully and you can go through from the self-learning materials carefully all these acts which are related to scheduled tribes. Thank you.